Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to this Q&A stream that I've been putting off for a long ass time. I think a lot of you are probably surprised to know that I even have a Discord, because I often say I don't really use it. So I guess let me start before I get to the questions, really, talking about the history of me having a Discord. So I'd gotten started on YouTube, and I started to see all these channels like blowing up, and I was like, oh, they all have Discords. And I don't know what the fuck Discord is, but it seems like a thing you gotta do if you want to be a YouTuber. So I'm like, alright, so I downloaded Discord, and I think before even joining a Discord server, I made my own, and I was like, alright, well, now I have the Discord server, so what do you do on Discord? And I was like, oh, like, I would look around at, like, other people's Discords and, like, not really get it. But I had it. I put it into the link of all of my videos, and then it started little by little gaining traction. And I'm still basically never there. I have my mods running the show. I had a few mods that I had set early on, and then more and more people who, like, actually knew what the fuck they were doing with Discord are basically running the show. So I think you even get a message when you join that says, hey, like, Whang is never actually here, but welcome. It's kind of like more of my mods Discord than my Discord. Although, from what I've heard, I think that's kind of like the best way to run a fan community, because then anything goes wrong, it's not your fault. It's their fault. And I appreciate all the work they put in, because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But, anyway, so a while ago they came to you like, hey, like, you know, it would be cool if we started getting a bunch of questions that people wanted to ask you, and basically like do a stream of it. I guess it was back in May now, because I'm looking at the questions and they start in May, which that's like almost well, no, it's like May 20th it looks like, so it's basically 3 months ago that this happened. Oh, it was K-Bar's one of my mods on Discord. That was his idea for the welcome message, so good call on that. I've seen that most of the career-ending fiascos when it comes to YouTube seem to all originate from Discord. So that hasn't happened to me yet, so I guess they're doing a good job over there. Thank you for those bits, Android Sunner. And thank you for the sub, Obama Supreme. It's a good mix of presidents and streetwear brands, that is. Oh, before I get into it, speaking of Douglas Levinson, who is on all of my alerts, someone sent me something that made me think he was dead, but I don't know. I hope he's not dead, but I'm worried because I figured, like, if he was out and about, there'd be pictures of him and shit like that, because he lives in New York. And people will undoubtedly recognize him as they have in the past. And thank you for those bits, Ellen Kitty. Any links you put into the chat are gonna get eaten up by the auto mod. Wait. Did Lord Baccarat sub and I missed it? Because I definitely thanked Obama Supreme. Alright. So let's get into here with the, Oh, yeah, actually, one other thing. Alright, before I get into the questions, one other thing about the Discord server. So, at some point, as a joke, because going back to those scandals, it seemed to always involve doxing. So what I did is I made one channel on the Discord called Doxing, but then people kept on coming in and being like, dude, why do you have a doxing channel? But if you go to the doxing channel, you can't actually put anything in there. It's just me going, made you look. But then I came back at one point and it was gone, so I was like, alright, that was probably a good call. But now I looked and it's back there. You go to the doxing channel, and now I think it's a message from K-Bar. But anyway, let me get to these questions. The first one, on May 20th, from blank. How do you feel about the state of your Discord server? I mean, like I said, I guess I kind of answered that question before I really got into it. How do I feel about the state of it? Nothing has come from there that has caused me a scandal yet, so I'm pretty satisfied with it. I I was thinking it would be cool to, like, kind of, like, pull people in the voice chat for streams and shit. So I might have to kind of, like, set something up for doing that live. It might be a fun thing to do. Who is my favorite? This is from Indie Timmy. Who is your favorite guitarist in music history? Favorite anything is hard. I know Hide from X Japan is definitely up there. Shugizu from Luna Sea actually is probably like the biggest influence on my actual writing style. Dimebag Darrell for sure, he's up there. I honestly, I really like Glenn Tipton from Judas Priest. He's another one that's up there. Can't think of any more to go into that one. Alright, Magic 8-Ball Juice Pea says, what's my favorite type of cheese? Alright, my favorite type of cheese, I've been getting this, like, I was always like a big, like, I like spicy anything. So, I had, it would have been pepper jack, but I've been getting this, I don't even remember what the fuck it's called. It's like this, like, spicy orange cheese, Chipotle something or other. Like, that shit is, like, 10 times the spiciness of the regular pepper jack. Like, that's my shit right now. And also horseradish cheese. It's like a horseradish cheddar that I've been getting. That's good too. HHC. I've noticed in the background of some of your videos, you have some wrestlers' masks on display. Off the top of my head, I'm sure I've seen a great Sasuke mask up there. How did you get into wrestling? So, when I was a kid, I had a bunch of VHS tapes of wrestling shows from before I was born. Because my mother was a wrestling fan, and my grandmother wasn't, but apparently my great-grandmother, who I don't know if I ever met her. If I did, I was, like, too young to remember. But, so, like, I became a wrestling fan younger than I was able to form memories, and then I just kind of, you know, you reach that point where your brain just kind of, like, clicks on as a child, and it's like, oh yeah, wrestling's there. This is a thing that I watch. Alright, AJ Shoop. In your humble opinion, if I get my groceries delivered and there's a DiGiorno pizza in the groceries, is it delivery or is it's both, I guess. Right? Although, you know what? It might still be not delivery because you gotta make the pizza first. So it's kinda, I don't know. There was this thing. I used to work at a studio back in the day, thinking of DiGiorno. And, thank you for the sub, The Real Elbow. Thinking back to this job, like, it was like, everyone who came in there was, like, the most boomer, like, I mean, I guess any, like, job where you're facing the public is like this, where you just have to deal with, like, middle-aged dudes, fucking boomers, and their shitty jokes. I just gotta be like, oh my god, that's really funny. Yeah, but like, I guess at a certain point, I stopped even doing the fake laughter shit, because it's like, it was a studio, you know. I'm not here to sell you a pair of underpants. I'm here to make sure your equipment is working, you know, and add a little bit of technical knowledge. So I don't need to stroke your ego and make you think you're a funny guy. So there's this one dude, it was like me and my coworker Mo, and we ordered pizza and we're eating, and this guy out of the bathroom, I don't know why I remember this moment so clearly, it's such a stupid moment, but he goes, oh, it's not delivery, it's DiGiorno, and I go, no, it's delivery, and he didn't know how to react to me, just like totally like I just autism the fuck out of that dude, and he was like, oh no, like, he didn't even say anything, he just turned around and left. What product, Mr. Gingy, what product do I use on my stash? I've used a different variety of things. Love the background loop, but it's out of sync and honestly bothers the living hell in me. Thanks for those bits. Yeah, like it like loops funny. Thanks for those cheers, Spencer Kane. But yeah, mustache product. I was using Firehouse wax for a while, And it's pretty good. I have this thing, right now what I have in there is this stuff called Mud Stash. That is actually, someone who watches the channel, it's their product and they sent it to me. It's pretty good. It's a lot, honestly, I feel like I like it a little bit better than the Firehouse Wax. The Firehouse Wax, like, it's always like, it was good, like, it was very effective, a little gummy. The Mud Stash, it's like a lot, I feel like it's like a little more water-based or something, I don't know for a fact, that's just how it feels in my hand. I've actually been, like, reaching out to a few different, mustache wax companies, because I would like to, like, do some kind of... I feel like it's a no-brainer for me to kind of do a collaboration with one of these companies. Let me see here. Foreskin 19 Head 69, one of my mods. Another part to this question, do I know OSW review? And if so, would I be game for a collab? Ad break questionarium style. I am familiar with OSW review. I've watched a few of their things. I know they have the thing where it's like you make your boys team, where it's like the guys who like they're I forgot the right way to describe it, but it's basically guys who are never the guy but they're your guy. And I put one of those teams together. I forgot who I had in my list, but that's definitely. I mean, I definitely have like a lot of wrestling content. I feel like the wrestling content I put out is very divisive, so it's always fun to be able to go more into that world. And thank you for those bits, Ellen Kitty. Goofy Goobers asks, if you could collaborate with another YouTuber, who would it be and why? Would you ever consider contacting them to see if they're interested in making a video with you? Actually, you know what's funny about collabs? I feel like the kind of content, that I make, it's hard to organically find to like get someone into a collab in the traditional sense of a collab. I've done it a couple times. It always felt like kind of disjointed, I feel. But I like what I did with the Hello My Future Girlfriend video, where it basically just had a few cameos. I had Wavy Web Surf, I had Tony from Cita Massacre, and I had Doplex in that one. It was cool, and then I had Rusty in a recent one. So what I've been doing on the collabs thing, I've basically, like, when I come up with the video ideas, I'm kind of brainstorming just, like, things where I can do, like, cool little cameos. Because I have a lot of friends that, like, you wouldn't expect me to know. Thank you for that sub, Lord Bakra. Now it pops up. I love Twitch. Oh, yeah, now I see what happened. It, like, you subbed and I didn't get the notification until now for some reason. That's weird. Oh, Happy Hanabi, the boys team. The boys are the guys that you love but don't get a lot of love and have never been world champs. Gotta know Wang's boys team. Was New Jack ever a world champ? Because if not, he would definitely be on the boys team. I forgot what my boys team was the first time I did it. New Jack would definitely be in there. Thanks for the sub, Pawn and King. Who else? I don't know, it's something that you gotta really sit with. Yeah, New Jack is crazy, that's why I love him. Oh, but to answer Goofy Goober's question, and like, I guess like a dream collab kind of thing, I don't, like, there's a few, I'm not comfortable with saying the names, because a lot of, like, it's, so, now, like, I'm thinking, like, some of the dream collabs I have, they're people that I know personally now, so I feel like a wiener if I, like, name them. But, when the time comes, I will reach out for them. Actually, there are a few that I could have worked, in retrospect, that I could have worked into the Hello My Future Girlfriend video, that I didn't reach out to them for that one. But there's always gonna be room for more. Oh yeah, Tajiri was definitely on my boys team, Hikaru. Alright, the next one. Do I have a favorite film by oh, this is from Even. Do I have a favorite film by Dario Argento? If so, what is it? That one's kind of tough. I mean, anything, I've said this before in streams, like, anytime, like, a favorite is always tough to pin down. But I mean, Suspiria is the obvious answer, but I feel like I like Suspiria for its stylistic aspects. And I've watched a lot more than any of his other movies, but I feel like I enjoyed Opera and Inferno more than I enjoyed Suspiria. Void asked, favorite video game console? Honestly, like, my knee-jerk reaction, it's gotta be either between Super NES or PlayStation 1. I feel like I made the best memories with those consoles. Although NES, too, is, like, up there. Yeah, that's rough. Oh, what is this song? This is cool. What I have the music on right now, it's just a Sega Genesis mix. This song is... It's from Wise 3, Be Careful. I never played the Wise games. YS. I don't even know the correct pronunciation for them. Alright. Put briefly, is there any tale from the internet I would love to do but find way too grotesque or inappropriate for YouTube? There's a few actually, and I've been thinking of ways to do them not on YouTube that would make sense. I don't want to do like a BitChute exclusive or anything like that because that feels like a waste of time. But it could be something like if I built my own website and just had like a couple of them that were up there just exclusive to my site. Or maybe what I saw is Rob Dyke, formerly Rob Dyke, now Rob Gavigan. He joined Storyfire, and he said that he's going to put up stuff that wouldn't be appropriate for YouTube on there. And I was like, well, I can do that too, and that's like McJuggernuggets thing. So I think next time he opens up applications, I'm going to apply to that, and maybe I'll do it. But one that I definitely said that I wanted to do that probably wouldn't fly on YouTube is the Messy Tale story, which was this diaper fur that posted all these pictures of himself, like, shitting his pants, and eventually he got sick from eating his own shit or something. People think he died, but he didn't die. That's one of them. There's a few of them that are like that. And the thing about that story is, like, I couldn't... Like, the way I did, whatchamacallit? Goatsy, or Two Girls, One Cup, I got around it. I didn't, show anything, but I feel like that story, because it's more obscure, I would have to show things for people to understand it. So I'll see if I can find a platform that I can let that rock with. Oh, and that question was from Madly Evil Waffle, by the way. Another question from Even. What is your favorite Gwar album? Gwar is a band that I didn't get into until I was older, so I didn't listen to it as albums. I listened to it as individual songs. So my favorite Gwar songs, I like Fish Fuck, Sick of You, Slaughterama. There are a few of them. I'm not a huge Gwar fan, but I really enjoyed seeing them live at Warped Tour a few years ago. Alright, SDAFTN-DFRG. Any personal preference on women? Chubby, skinny, fit? Well, I mean, I'm definitely like a boob guy, but I definitely have like a thing for like really like diesel, but like still like feminine shaped women. Like if there's this chick on Instagram that I follow, I think it's like hot as fuck. Bakar Nabieva, like she's like jacked. This like jacked Russian chick, like that kind of shit I'm into. But it's like I like all different kinds of girls, and so it's like. I guess I decided to point that out because that's the thing that most people aren't into that I do think is hot. Actually, I think Leon Lush had a video where he was like making fun of them, and I was like, dude, come on, Leon, don't make fun of my waifu. Accept Tengri into your heart asks, what's the best dream you've ever had? Doesn't have to be a pleasant one. There was this one dream that I had when I was a kid. Well, I guess I was like a teenager. And it was like this dream where it's like everyone else was in their own dreams, but then like we're kind of like meeting up in the dream world and like making I don't know how to explain it. Like all the dreams were kind of like I mean, I guess it's basically like everyone kind of like dream worlds merged and people just like living in the dream world, and like at the time like it felt like I was like actually doing this. That was a pretty cool one. Alright, I answered that one. James the Floofy Cat asked, how do you feel about your channel gaining so many subs so quickly? Also, any future plans for new content? You know what? I'm kind of glad that I gained... Well, obviously I'm fucking glad I gained a lot of subs. But I feel like in some ways, because it happened so instantly for me, like it doesn't really register that I have a lot of subs. Like, I'll be talking to people who, like, I kind of, like, I feel in my head that they're, like, way bigger than I am, but I'm actually, like, my shit's actually bigger than they are, and it still, like, doesn't register to me. And I think that's a good thing, because it kind of, like, keeps my ego in check. Because it's hard to, get a big ego when you still think everyone else is bigger than you, even when they're not actually. Oh, and any plans for future content? Well, since that question was asked back to me, since then I premiered Angel Fire Adventures, and I do, so there's a few things I have coming. I had mentioned on my Patreon thing yesterday, I was talking about doing a podcast with some real-life friends, which might be cool just to kind of have, like, that live energy for something. And actually, like, stuff like this, I'm thinking of making a second channel, where it's like something like this video on demand wouldn't exactly fit on the main channel, but it would be cool to have a place to upload stuff like this, and I have the gaming channel on the side, where, like, this wouldn't really fit either. So I'm probably gonna make a channel for, like, these kinds of things to upload, or, like, rant videos like I used to do. If I make the podcast, it'll probably go on that channel, and I've come up with some alternate names for it, like Whang Extension, Whang or You. I gotta brainstorm a name for it. But there's one other thing. Oh yeah, I also wanted to do things about, like, make a series about commercials. And I'm thinking of the first one being the Slap Chop guy, because I feel like he's a good way to... Oh, Whang Uncut, that's a good one, Lord Pubius. But... Oh yeah, I feel like the Slap Chop guy, if I were to do a video about him, it's kind of a good way to bridge the gap between Tales from the Internet and the news series, because a lot of his appeal was very online. K-Bar, if you were to give any advice to future YouTubers, what would it be? The biggest thing that I see, well, there's like a lot of things that I see. There's a lot of YouTubers, a lot of people who, like, they want to get started on YouTube, but they want to get everything perfect right out the gates. Like, they're like, oh, I can't start my channel because I don't have money for an expensive DSLR camera, or a lot of times it comes down specifically to them not having a good enough camera or a good enough computer. But it's like they have, like, a smartphone. Like, anything you can do on your fucking smartphone. Like, you can even directly upload a video from your phone to YouTube. So if you have a phone, you can do YouTube. Like, and, like, people might think, oh, well, my production's not gonna be up to snuff, but people don't come to YouTube for big, over-the-top production. Now I have, like, this nice camera. Actually, I'm fucking stoked. You might notice that, well, you will notice eventually that my battery isn't dying because I got the proper AC adapter for it. So now we do this all night. My camera's not going to die throughout this. Unless, you know, it actually breaks. But, yeah, that's the big one. Like, you people, like, you can't, like, worry too much about getting shit perfect right out the gate. Because no matter how hard you try, like, it's not gonna happen unless, you know, you're someone, like, who has, like, a big team behind them. Like an industry plant. Like, that kind of thing. But then, of course, you're not worried about that kind of shit anyway. It's actually something I was thinking, like, for the second channel I was talking about, going more in-depth into those kinds of topics on the second channel, because, you know, people who watch Tales from the Internet, Angel Fire Adventures, Gaming Mysteries, they're not necessarily gonna want, you know, YouTube advice and shit like that, but someone else might want to see that on a different channel. Ryan Wraith. Did you get bullied in school for my last name? No, and I think it's... Oh, actually, my mouse battery's dying now that I'm looking at it. Let me plug this in while I talk. I feel like people using Whang to mean dick is, like, a more recent thing. Like, it might have came up, but I feel like that might have started by the time I was already, like, in high school. So then it's kind of like... K-Bar, Horde or Alliance? So I played World of Warcraft, like, when it was brand new. And I picked Horde. Actually, I had this undead rogue, and because I played as a chick, and because I played as a chick character, I would have all these thirsty-ass dudes, like, trying to hit on me and send me free shit. But ultimately, like, I couldn't get too into World of Warcraft because you get to a certain point, at least, like, back when the game was new. I've heard people say it's easier to solo now, but, back then you couldn't really solo, and I didn't want to party with people and do raids with people. Like, again, I get that it's like, you know, it's a big open world with all kinds of adventures to be had and friends to be made, but I don't play video games to make friends. I don't want that social experience of World of Warcraft, so I stopped playing pretty quickly. But if I cared about it, I would play Horde. When I played Warcraft 3, I used to, like, I used to play orcs. I used to have this thing when I used to, what I used to like to do, and it was especially good if I had, like, teams with, like, good anti-infantry units, I used to just, like, mass raiders and fuck people's shit up. Because, like, raiders could, like, just eat through people's fucking buildings like nothing. Yvonne, what is my favorite song on In the Airplane Over the Sea? Definitely King of Carrot Flowers. That's pretty much the only song I actually listened to from that album. Like, there's a few that I like, but that's like the only one that I would ever be like, yo, I'm in the mood to listen to this song. Magic 8-Ball Juice PS, what's my favorite cut of beef? I don't know enough about different cuts of beef to say. I like the steak. What, is there like a specific part of the cow that's the steak? Because this is the Michael Jackson Sonic 3 song. Yeah, I like the steak part of the cow. It's like, or this is from like Sonic 3 and Knuckles, is it? Or is it? Whichever one. I remember this is like a Michael. I remember hearing this song overlaid with a Michael Jackson song. Oh yeah. Oh wait. It's the bass line from Smooth Criminal. Favorite mobster movie? That was a question from Yvonne. Does do Yakuza flicks count? Because Kitano, who, he made, like, basically, like, all, like, the late 90s, early 2000s, like, really classic Yakuza movies. Like, he's my favorite director. You probably best know him from being the teacher in Battle Royale, but he made movies like Hanabi, Violent Cop, Brother. I think he said that Brother is his least favorite movie. Not favorite, I think he straight up said that he doesn't like that movie. That's the American movie he made, and it's basically like, summary being like a Yakuza boss is exiled to the US, and he makes his own gang collaborating with black street gangs, and they get into a war with the Italian mob. I thought that was a really good movie. It's probably not my favorite Kitano movie, but I really like it. Kitano doesn't like it, and he said that he didn't like it because American actors suck. So, take that for what you will. I also like to think of that movie as a prequel to House, because the spoilers, like, I guess, like, cover your ears if you don't want to hear spoilers for Brother, but basically Omar Epps is in the movie, and he winds up coming into a lot of money, so I like to think that he used that money to put himself through med school, and then House begins. Valentinia asks, will you do a vid on the Avril Lavigne body double conspiracy, or is the pop punk genre too beneath you to cover? That's definitely a video I plan on making eventually. I think I'm gonna do the similar Andrew WK one first, though. Because the Andrew WK one that all stemmed from this one, like, well, it didn't all stem from there, but it really was popularized by this one website back in the day. Oh, and yeah, going back, Goodfellas, if we're talking just Western mobster movies, Goodfellas is definitely my favorite. Definitely one of my most watched ones. Big Daddy Jade asks, do you use products to get your stash to curl the way it does? I answered that one. Yeah, I had mentioned Mud Stash, and I had mentioned Firehouse Wax. SDA, FTN, DFRG, thoughts on Pride Month capitalism? I mean, any corporation that, like, the cringiest shit to me, and this happens all across the political spectrum, is when people see, and now I think about, not even, like, politically, like, even, like, you can look at, like, fucking Arby's and shit like that, who, like, they want to show you what real gamers and anime fans there are. People are like, oh, wow, they're just like me, I'm gonna buy a sandwich. But obviously, it's even more exploitive when it goes to, like, things like, oh, we support the gay community, buy our bullshit. It's like, do you think the fucking, like, the 60 fucking year old fucking white dude who CEO or whatever fucking company is pushing out some woke shit on Twitter, you think they really give a fuck about the gay community or whatever? They fucking don't. It's a very cynical cash grab, and it upsets me that so many people fall for it. Thank you for those bits, Awful Waffle. Dragor the Drake. What would you be doing if you were not doing YouTube, if you'd ever started a channel in the first place? Well, I mean, what I had been doing is, basically, like, before I was able to do YouTube full-time, I was working a lot as a movie extra and TV extra, and I was trying to get some auditions for acting roles and shit. So, you know, I'm a fucking terrible actor. I can't act for shit, but I managed to get auditions here and there. So I was like, you know what? If these people are going to pay me money to act badly, let them fucking pay me. Granted, I never actually got a role like that, but a lot of the times, especially, like, I have a look where it's like, you know, I'm very easily put into a role as an Asian gang member. That was a lot of the jobs I got as an extra, and sometimes they're like, hey, like, we need you to say a couple words. When that happens, sometimes it's more about your look than actually being able to act. I did get, actually, the one line, I did get upgraded as to a line one time I thought it was a movie, but it was actually, they were shooting the trailer for a Kickstarter for a movie, and originally they had hired me to be a strip club attendee, but then they were like, oh, you know what, we need, like, a hired goon, so you're gonna grab this chick and, like, throw her down and be like, you stand there. And, actually, it was such a stupid production, now I'm thinking. Like, the guy that was the director, I, like, asked them, like, I didn't know if they wanted me to speak with an accent or not, because obviously I don't normally talk with a fucking Chinese accent. But so I asked him, like, should I have a Chinese accent? And he's like, no, you should have an Italian accent. Like, that was a stupid question. And it's like, come on, dude. Like, fucking fat idiot. So then they put up, I eventually, saw the Kickstarter they put up. I didn't even know any of this happened. What happened was, I wound up running into the lead actor from that trailer. He was working at a restaurant that I went to. He was, like, one of the waiters there. And I was like, oh shit, like, I remember you from that day. And he told me the whole story of everything that happened with that. And I looked, like, it was an adaptation of a book, that nobody fucking read. Adaptation of a book that nobody fucking read. I feel like that director probably scammed this poor woman who wrote the book, and she has, like, her children operating boom mics on his set and whatnot. And then they have a Kickstarter. I think they're looking for, like, $300,000 for this, and they are hoping to get it based off this trailer that told you basically nothing about the movie, except that it was about sex trafficking. I think they raised like $10 or some shit. So, needless to say, that movie's not coming out. Alright. I don't know if I read his name. That question was from Dragor the Drake. This one's from Verdant Ragnarok. If there were two guys on the moon, and one of them killed the other with a rock, would that be fucked up or what? I mean, it depends on a lot. I mean, I guess it would be fucked up, but, like, why did he kill him? You can kill a guy in self-defense on the moon, and then it's like, well, the guy who's dead is the one who's fucked up, right? Could you bludgeon someone on the moon? I don't know, like, cause like with the I don't know how that works. Like, alright, so I'm standing, and you're like standing over here, and we're both standing on the surface of the moon, and I have a big, heavy rock. Would the lack of gravity prevent me from bludgeoning a person to death? We gotta get Neil deGrasse Tyson on here. He would know. Well, actually, you could bludgeon someone. Neil deGrasse Tyson just tells you, you're standing on the moon with Neil deGrasse Tyson, who tells you it's possible, and thus you do it to him. Doppio greater than everyone else asked, why is it called a hamburger if it's made with beef? I believe it's because it's from Hamburg, Germany, but I might be wrong. Alright, wait, K-Bar. No, the force would push the person off into space. Inertia. Alright, yeah, so you couldn't. So if you bludgeoned someone to death with a rock on the moon, it would be fucked up. Not from a moral perspective, but from a defying the laws of physics perspective. K-Bar asks, if you had to decide between music or YouTube as the only career choice, which would you pursue? I mean, if I had to choose, I would probably choose YouTube just by merit of the fact that I'm clearly, like, doing a lot better at YouTube than I am at music. I mean, we have, like, on the music end, we do have, like, a lot of, like, potential things. Like, the show that we have in September could potentially be a big show for us for reasons I can't talk about, but I've been in that game long enough to know that, like, I've had potentially big shows, like, countless times in my fucking life. So my outlook on that shit is, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Thanks for the sub, Ari Gold. 922. Oh, 922. Asum Jessen, or Asum Jessen, am I a fan of Mass Effect? And if so, am I familiar with the sweat post from the old BioWare ME forum? Would like to see a video on it. Always been curious about whether it was a real chemist behind the post. I never played Mass Effect, so I can't really answer that question. And 10 Little Zohans, the show is in New York. I forgot now if the show is, it's at, I know it's going to be at Arlene's Grocery. I'll be posting about it. If you follow me on anything else, I'll definitely be posting about it, so you'll know. But then I have one in Long Island coming, this Friday. We're playing at a bowling alley in Suffolk County. Incubus asks, why am I not a fan of Discord? Honestly, mainly it's kind of like, I don't really like... When I was a kid, I used to sit in, like, AOL chat rooms all the time and talk to people all day long. But now, I guess I'm older, I don't feel inclined to do that so much. And I definitely don't feel inclined to voice chat with people. Like, people call me on, like, a fucking, people call me on the phone, and I'm like... If someone calls me on my phone, and they don't have a question, they just want to talk, I'm like... Why? Why do you want to talk to me, like, and have a conversation? If it's, like, text me. Text me what it is. I don't feel like hearing voices and shit. I don't feel like dropping every single thing I'm doing to give a conversation just to talk my undivided attention. And I feel like Discord voice chats are me, like, opting into that thing that I actively avoid with my real-life friends. So, something else, like, I noticed, like, every once in a while, I'll think to myself, be like, hey, what's going on in Discord? And I'll look, and, like, every time I do decide to pop in my Discord, winds up being the times when no one's talking. So I'm like, oh, I guess no one wants to talk right now. Cthulhu But Better asked, I looked around for a while, and I couldn't find anything about it, so I'll ask you, is there any official Jinx merch? If so, where can I find it? Actually, this is something I was talking about with the band last night, because right now we have merch that's, like, it's only on tour. The store isn't active right now, and, like, a lot of that was just to coordinate everybody to deliver, printed merch. It winds up being, like, a pain in the ass. So we're going to be doing, probably, I want to say October is a reasonable timeline for it. We want to set up a Teespring store with a couple of online-only designs that are just for the band. So when that happens, we'll have designs up. Banana Gang Caleb asks, as a fellow metalhead and fan of Jinx, what was the first record I ever bought? The first actual record, I believe, was the Ninja Turtles movie soundtrack. It was one of three things. I can't remember the order that I got them in. It was the Ninja Turtles movie soundtrack, The Simpsons Sing the Blues, and WrestleMania the album. Well, I didn't really listen to, like, real music until, like, Dookie. When I was already, like... I think I was in, like, 5th grade when my friend brought that to my house. Hey, Skate Jade asks, hey buddy, what do you think of Gacha Moochie? If you don't know what that is, it's basically YTPMV edits of muscular game and wrestling. You know how I became familiar with the term Gacha Moochie? It was when Wavy Websurf made his video about Ricardo, and then, like, people were like, I think that might be his biggest video. Like, he's got millions of views on this thing. But there were a lot of people that fucking hated Wavy because of that video, because they saw it as, like, oh, well, now he ruined Gacha Moochie. Wavy Websurf killed Gacha Moochie. Like, that's how, like, some people were reviewing it. But that's how I kind of... Like, I was aware of that stuff before, but I didn't I wasn't aware of the community surrounding it, I guess. Until that whole situation. Epole, one of my mods. I think actually Epole was like the dude who kind of pulled in all like the other mods. And like set up all like the bots and shit that I have no idea how to use. How has being a YouTuber influenced your day-to-day life? Being a YouTuber, the biggest influence that being a YouTuber has had in my life is that I don't leave my house much well, I've been making a point to leave my house. Because, honestly, being a YouTuber, I never have to see the outside world ever again. Like, I could literally just, like, chill home, like, Oh, wait, Cable. I was like, was it Pulley or was it or was it you who did all the bots, K-Bar? I forgot I remember you and E-Pulley. I basically at some points there were some among you who just knew better and got the shit together. We met up in the mod chat. And you guys were like, here, you need this and that bot. And I was like, I trust you guys to know what the fuck I need on my server. Let's do it. Oh yeah, so back to the question. Like, I always feel bad, like, when I credit people for shit, because I'm very big on crediting people properly for the things that they do. Especially when it's, like, things like Discord, where they're doing stuff that helps me out, that I don't pay them for. And... so I appreciate that. I just feel bad about like getting the shit wrong. But anyway, how has being a YouTuber influenced my day-to-day life? Yeah. So like I would never have to leave the house again. Potentially, I can you know, if I can make all the videos, have my money come to me, make sponsor deals on the phone. Get anything I want delivered to me. But then it's like, you start to feel like shitty if you don't leave the house, ever. So now I've kind of taken to getting out at some point in the range between 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Because apparently like that's like when the sun is at the correct angle to help you make vitamin D. So you don't like die and shit. And that's kind of coordinated itself with my couch to 5K. I started doing couch to 5K because even though I lift 5 days a week, my cardio is fucking shit. So, and I started to notice this, and part of that is because that's another aspect of like not going out. It's like when I'm commuting to work and shit. When I was like commuting to different jobs, they would be in all obscure places of the city, Brooklyn. Sometimes I go up to fucking Harlem or worse, the Bronx. And that's a whole trip, and you get like a little bit of workout from that, from going all over the city. So like, even though like I've made a point to like have a standing desk and shit like that, you still like, it fucks with your health a little bit. I definitely feel like, I mean, and this isn't me saying that like, oh, like depression is all like it's all in your head and you just gotta be healthy and whatnot. I'm not saying that. But I definitely feel like the reason why a lot of YouTubers wind up with depression issues and shit like that is because they literally don't leave their houses ever. And that'll just do that. It definitely doesn't help. I mean, there's a reason why, like, depression levels are, like, way higher in countries that that don't get adequate sunlight. A deleted user asked, has Whang ever heard of the Touch Detective series? For the DS, the first two are on the DS in America, but the third was never given an English patch. For the 3DS, they have some weird spin-off mobile games too, and otherwise they're not heard of or known that well, and no big YouTubers have really reviewed it. You know, I've heard of those games before, but I don't really know all that much about them. Just based on the name, I'm assuming they're probably kind of Phoenix Wright-esque, maybe? Skinhead asks, do you and Wavy have to confirm ideas for videos so both of you don't cover it? We haven't. There's a few of us who make videos like this. I'm honestly surprised that none of us have wound up covering the same thing so far. I know it's like me, Wavy Web Surf, Internet Historian, Emperor Lemon. Actually, I don't know. Alright, so I don't know what Emperor Lemon is actually working on right now, but there's like, I don't want to like talk about the thing he was telling me. Like, there's just like this one conversation that I had with Emp at VidCon. It was like the most interesting shit, where it felt like I was having my own personal, Emperor Lemon video. So I hope what we were talking about is the thing he winds up making next. But yeah, generally, we don't confirm ideas with each other. Sometimes it'll be a situation where it's like, one of us will have a video that we think is better for someone else, like, Wavy one time, he gave me one suggestion. He felt like it was more of a me video than a him video, and I want to follow up on that one. Protondo, who do I main in Street Fighter? In most Street Fighter games, Chun-Li. In the original Street Fighter games, though, Ryu or Ken. If you were a furry, what animal would it be? And you could choose any animal, oh, this is from Smash Mail. And you could choose any animal, not just the ones with fur. I don't, I've had this asked before, and I think I've noticed that, like, it seems like almost every furry is like some variation of fox. Like, I've never seen, like, a furry platypus or some shit. Like, it kind of, like, it signals, I guess it signals to, like, a little bit of a lack of originality. Sorry to shit on anybody who's, like, a fox furry in here. It seems like fox is, like, the default kind of furry. So, I definitely wouldn't be a fox. I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of cat girls. I don't know, I would have to, like, basically it would have to be something that's, like, a little, off the beaten path. I would have to, like, think, like, a fucking wallaby or something. What's that thing that's like a wallaby but even smaller? All about Scaly's Paul Miranda, like that dragon guy that's, like, talks about politics. The fucking in defense of child labor. K-Bar, favorite video game and system of all time. Oh, Maniac Mansion is up there. Earthbound's up there, Final Fantasy VI, Resident Evil, Silent Hill, Chrono Trigger, yeah, that's another one that's up there. What got me mad hype, if you guys know Ultra Joe, he made like 2 art pieces for me. One of them was like a Genesis game cover, and the other one was like this screen that it looked like it came out of like one of those classic LucasArts games. That's all. Now that I think about it, I hadn't really considered this. Like, I had like thought about like what I would do if I made a game, in part because like I see like Keemstar is always trying to make games now, and I was like, well, like talking to him about like his like process for like, getting into that shit made me realize it's like a lot more accessible than I realized. And I was like, that just made me think, well, what if I took that idea that Ultra Joe had, like, just as like an art thing and made that an actual game? I mean, if it were a Maniac Mansion type game, though, I would have to sit down and like write out like, you know, like an actual script and shit like that. The Sierra games are cool, Charles. That's like Leisure Suit Larry is Sierra, right? And then there's like King's Quest, Space Quest. I wouldn't want to make an RPG Maker game. Like, I wouldn't want to make like something that's, like I said, like now thinking about it, I really would like to do like a LucasArts type adventure game. Spencer, another one of my mods, asked, if you ever felt like you no longer had enough weird internet stuff to cover and keep an active channel, what would you do, not counting doubling down on streaming? Well, actually, no, this is like, so the internet stuff, like, it never like stops happening, but I'm also hesitant to do things that are too current. And also, something that's weird that I've noticed and I hadn't really thought about. Now I've started to like make videos. I mean, I've started to like make a lot of friends with people who are in some ways involved with some of these stories. And sometimes I'll have people approach me who think I'm going to make a video about them. So I'm like, I don't like... I mean, I wouldn't... That's not to say that, like, if a story happened that I wanted to cover that involved someone I knew, I wouldn't do it. But it does feel a little awkward. At the same time, though, like, I've been realizing that it's not necessarily just the internet stuff that holds the things I do together. It's kind of like a generalized nostalgia. So there's definitely things that I could do that wouldn't necessarily be internet based. Like, I was thinking of another series on top of the advertising series that I wanted to do. It would just be like looking at like random shit that I thought was cool or interesting. Like for an example, like one type of video, well, one video idea that I had that doesn't really fit into anything that I have right now. I had this one night where I was sitting up researching the California raisins. Because California raisins are fucking weird as shit. And it's... I could 100% make a video just about the California raisins. And... I feel like it would be an interesting video. Like, as interesting as any Tales from the Internet or Gaming Mysteries. But it's not a Tales from the Internet or Gaming Mysteries. Really, if you think about it, my Battletoads video was kind of like that. I really had to reach to make that a Gaming Mysteries video. Brofist Dab. One of my janitors. I noticed your oldish videos had songs from the Game Boy game Boktai. Did I like that game? I don't know that game. It might have been a misattributed song, or maybe it's very rare that I use a song that I don't know what it is. So I don't know. Not sure about that one. Keely's one of like my OG mods on the server. Tell us something about me that you don't know, something you never shared before, like a secret hobby or passion that you have, or birthmark perhaps. Secret habit or quirk, anything I've never shared before. Ah, shit. Thanks for the sub, Matt Feeder. I don't know, it's hard for me to think of something, because like, I just talk a lot of shit on these streams in general. Let me think. Oh, wait, Charles, Boktai is Hideo Kojima's vampire Game Boy game? I think I did. I think I do remember using that, but I don't remember the game that well. Birthmark. I spoke about this on the stream. I had like Actually, no. As of today, I have no more health insurance. Shit. I was told the story on the stream the other day. As of today, I have no more health insurance. But it's not a big deal. I'll get health insurance. I'm not too worried about that. But with that date approaching, I went and got like a bunch of stuff, and then so I went for a checkup, and the doctor's like, you should get that mold checked out. So I got a mold biopsied last week, and the doctor says it's probably nothing, because it wasn't very deep or anything like that, but it was like, he would rather not play guesswork with it. So, there, that's the secret. I had a mold biopsied, and I'm expecting results back on that next week. Murray was here. Who would win in a fight, Whang or Dick Masterson? Shit, I don't know. Cause like I met Dick in person at VidCon. He's a big dude. I feel like I'm a little like, I probably got more muscle on me than Dick does, but he's also taller than me. But I don't know if he fights. I don't know if he's a fighter. I don't know. I feel like a fight between me and Dick Masterson would be a pretty competitive fight that can go either way. Like, Dick definitely has, like, a reach advantage. Favorite music this year? That's, from MasterLink117. Favorite music? Let me think. I really enjoyed, Second Death put out this one song that I've been listening to a lot. They're a Philly band, I believe. Carnegie TV, Dick has a reach advantage is a beautiful statement out of context. I didn't even think about it. You know, it's funny, like, people... So, like, sometimes people ask me what podcasts I listen to, and I'm like, oh, well, I listen to The Dick Show and Cumtown, and it's basically like, it sounds like I only listen to shows about penises. And then I'm Whang, so that doesn't help either. But yeah, whatever Second Death's most recent song was, I like that. And actually, their bassist is funny as fuck. Or is he one? No, I think he's a guitar player, actually. It's funny as fuck on Twitter. And unfortunately, he has a name, he has a display name that I probably can't say on Twitch without getting banned. In loving memory, who are more like local dudes that I'm friends with. I actually saw them. I ran into them at the rehearsal studio last night. One of their recent songs, I've been listening to that one a lot. I don't know if that came out this year or the year before, though. Shit, what else came out this year? Most of what I've been listening to this year is, like, random old fucking vaporwave tracks in and shit like that, you know? So it's kind of like... all the new music I've been listening to isn't new. Like, on my Dead by Daylight streams, I've been having a lot of, like, poolside FM stuff playing and whatnot. Jakeinator LS asked, do I still watch pro wrestling, and if so, what is your favorite wrestling promotion? Honestly, I haven't watched a lot of wrestling this year. I've been meaning to get caught up with AEW, because I was, like, AEW is, they're, like, forcing WWE's hand to kind of come into the modern era. And they're signing up a lot of guys, a lot of wasted talent. Like, Cody Rhodes. When they had that little feud in WWE that was, like, the Rhodes family versus the McMahons, and, like, Cody gave that promo about how the McMahons have always hated the Rhodeses, I had said some shit, like, dude, Cody Rhodes is, like, a main event talent that's just going to fucking waste with the stupid gimmicks they're giving him. I was like, watch, like, this guy is gonna be, like, a top guy. And people thought I was full of shit. And now you look, and I was 100% right about Cody Rhodes. Like, not only was I right about Cody Rhodes, he's changing the whole fucking industry. So, you know, fuck everybody that laughed at me when I said Cody Rhodes was the top guy. And in addition, then, there's, I kind of fell off with New Japan, too. But now I saw that, Shibata might be back. Which, I know, I didn't know if he was gonna be retired and whatnot, because he fucked himself up. Like, he had, from doing those actual stiff headbutts, he fucked himself up. And needed to get, like, a hole drilled into his skull or, like, whatever kinds of shit. And these guys, you know, they gotta be, like, Japan. Like, I love Japanese wrestling for the stiffness of it, but that comes at a cost. Like, if any of you guys watch Kim Justice put out a few months ago a really good video about Pro Wrestling Noah and Misawa, who died in the ring because his body just couldn't take the punishment. That's the fucking trade-off. Like, these guys, like, fuck themselves up. But I still, like, love watching that kind of wrestling. And, you know, if Shibata is back, I definitely gotta get right the fuck in. Especially if they do Shibata versus Kenta. Like, back when I was, like, watching New Japan heavy, I always felt like Shibata's match was the best on the card. Like, no matter who he wrestled with. Even if he wrestled with a total fucking bum, he could carry anybody to a at least enjoyable match. Alright, and now here's the last question from last of the pinned messages. K-Bar, how did you become a member of Jinx, and what are some bands that inspired you guys? So basically, before Jinx started, actually, like, alright, so I can tell you what happened the week that I joined Jinx. I had, like, Jinx was essentially Jerry, my guitar player's project. Like, the first songs he wrote all by himself. Well, not all by himself, like, our drummer Ray, like, came with some melodies too, but it was mostly, like, those two. Mostly Jerry, and then Ray had some melodies too. At least I wasn't, like, there for, like, the very, very beginning of the band, but like, that's kind of how I heard it back. And they had a different guitar player at first, but that was before anything was even released or anything like that. And basically, I was still in this band called Pui, P-U-I. It was like this tribal sounding, it was honestly more of like a hard rock band. Honestly, like a band that I compared to. I recently did a podcast. I don't think it's out yet, with Doc from God Forbid. Oh, well, he's in Bad Wolves now, and we were talking about that band because he had managed that band briefly. I kind of compare it to like a Middle Eastern sounding version of that band, The Who. H.U. That's like, that band is popping too. Fucking that Mongolian band. But it was kind of like that aesthetic, but like more Middle Eastern. We had a Turkish vocalist and whatnot. But that band was basically coming to an end. And so like one day, like, I was at a beer garden and Jerry happened to be there, my guitar player from Jinx. So he was telling me about how they're getting rid of their guitar player and like I should join, because I had been trying to be in a band with Jerry for fucking years. I have known Jerry like since I was in my first band, Severed, but we were always in the scene together, but like in different bands. So he was like, yeah, you should join. And I was like, I got this project going, we're doing a lot of shit. And the very next fucking day, I have a meeting with the band I was already in. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna play one last show, and that's that. So I was like, oh, alright. So like, I'm sitting at the table with these guys, and I text Jerry, I'm like, yeah, count me in. This band's breaking up, let's do it. And that's how I joined Jinx. And when it comes, like, honestly, like, me personally, what inspires a lot of the kind of shit that I write when I'm by myself is, like, very, like, anime music sounding. Like, there was another band I was in before even that band called The World We Knew. And we had written 2 songs for a demo. One of them was a song that Tim wrote, who was our guitar player at that time. He's in Fit for an Autopsy now. And then there was another one that I wrote. And I think they recently put out, like, the World News getting back together with new members, except I think Frank, the vocalist, was in it, and Tom, who played bass when I was in the band, but he was the original guitar player. I think they're in the new iteration of the World Menu, but they recently released a collection out with rarities and stuff, including the song that I wrote, which was entitled, I believe they called it Sin Sellers on that album. But that's, like, it's, a lot of my writing is basically, like, what I'm getting to is, like, it's very, like, J-Rock, anime influence. Like I said before when I was talking about guitar players, Shugizo from Lunacy was a big influence on my writing. Or, it's like, actually, that's very apparent in the song The Endless, the one we had the music video of Tommy Dreamer on. So yeah, when it comes to my actual writing, that kind of stuff, I feel like it only very subtly comes through in the Jinx stuff. Like the chorus, the background part of the chorus from Obsessive Convulsive, that was something that I was like jamming out, and then I worked that part out with the producer that we work with, Zach Jones. Which honestly, I've never worked with a producer before either. Like it was something I was always skeptical of, but now that I've done it in a comfortable writing context, it's like having it's basically just having like an extra band member. And it's cool. It's basically like having like an extra set of eyes to jam out with, and it works out really well. But when it comes to the kind of riffing and stuff with Jinx, I feel like the biggest influence I bring into that is probably Duran Gray. Like, that's one of my favorite bands. Actually, I have the J-Rock episode of Angel Fire Adventures edited that goes into that a little bit. I'm probably gonna upload that tomorrow. Biodegradable edited that for me, and it like I had a couple of things, like the shout out to like go to the Twitch if you want to be a part of the Angel Fire Adventure episodes and things like that. But that should be up tomorrow. And those are the end. That's the end of the pinned Discord messages. But I'll stick around a little bit and talk to you guys. Excuse me, I got hiccups now. What the fuck? Alright, Evil Con Carne Asada asks, drop A or drop dead? What tuning am I in? Jinx, I play on a 7-string guitar, and it's drop G. Myra Elvira, when am I playing Clock Tower? Clock Tower, I definitely, you know what, alright, so I think I spoke about this on stream before. Back before like anyone really watched my YouTube channel, I did a Halloween stream of Clock Tower for Super NES. I think like one person watched, like my friend Fitbay. No, I think 2 people dropped in during that whole stream. My friend Fitbay and Tommy, my vocalist from Jinx. The only people who looked at it. And it's hard. That's a game. There's some games where it's hard to talk when there's nobody watching. I mentioned Toe Jam and Earl was a game like that. Clock Tower was a game like that. But that one might be fun to do, you know, on stream with you guys watching. Do I plan on doing an episode on Dwayne from the Barbie dance video? I don't know what that is. What do I think about the Stranger Things Dead by Daylight reveal? It's pretty cool. Like, I fell behind on Dead by Daylight. What I think is cool, they got the 2 Survivor characters, and it looks like they actually got their likenesses. Which is cool. Like, that's something that drives me crazy with Dead by Daylight. When... Oh, is this Splatterhouse music? Oh no, it's Golden Axe, I think. Let's see, what is this? Yeah, that's Death Adder's music from Golden Axe. Okay. I forgot what I was talking about now. Oh yeah, Clock Tower. Well yeah, Clock Tower, that would be a good one to play with people actually, like, in the chat and whatnot. Oh, and Stranger Things. Yeah. So they actually got the licenses for the survivors, which is cool, because it kind of drives me crazy when they get the people in there, but it's like the main one is Laurie. Like, why even bother putting Laurie Strode in there if it's not Jamie Lee Curtis? Like, that's like I paid for the Halloween pack and I got Laurie, and it's Laurie Strode, but it's not Jamie Lee Curtis, so it's like why did I spend money on this? But honestly, like, because I like to play killer primarily, the Demogorgon is the main appeal. I'm assuming they're gonna have to have some kind of supernatural element for it. I hope it doesn't wind up being like another Freddy type debacle. Because in my head, that's how I picture the Demogorgon working, like the way they want Freddy to work. What rare game do I own in my collection? Honestly, I liquidated most of my rare shit. Like, there was a time, like, I've had like a lot of different jobs that involved me, well, not even jobs, like sources of income that involved me, you know, having my schedule be as flexible as possible, and part of that was selling shit on eBay, doing the whole like a garage sale thing or yard sale thing, which I love that Gary Vaynerchuk has a series about that now, because honestly, the whole like going to yard sales and flipping shit that you find that's underpriced, like that's like paid a lot of my bills in life. But like the rare games that I just kind of had, well, I had the big box Earthbound, and I sold that. That was probably like the rarest thing that I actually owned. It's between that, or actually Dragon Ball GT for PlayStation might have been. Earthbound is definitely worth more, but I think Dragon Ball GT might be rarer. And that one was worth a lot too. Selling Jankos too, like, what's interesting about Jankos, like they tried to make, like the original Jankos, they're not worth as much as they were now. I mean, as they were, they're not as worth as much now as they were then, but they, like back in the day, I was selling Jankos for like $200, $300, $400. And they were, the original Jankos were, they were extremely high quality denim. Like you don't get denim like this now. But then they brought back Janko back a few years ago, and you could tell just from the pictures that it was like shit quality denim that they just stuck the old embroidery on, and it was crap. And I could say sometimes you can just tell cheap denim from looking at a picture. You don't even have to hold it in your hand, especially compared to how high quality the original Jankos were. But now they brought it back yet another time, and looking at the pictures, like they didn't bring back any of the real crazy designs, but you can like visibly tell that at the very least the current wave of Jankos are higher quality denim than the last resurrection of it. I don't know if they're as good as the originals, but you can definitely tell that now they're trying it again. They're definitely like kind of focusing more on having it not just be like, oh, here's the patch and the big cut. Hey man, I love your YouTube series. How can I play Earthbound these days? Alexander. Obviously I would only ever encourage you to play games through whatever legal means you can find. So, you know, you're gonna have to dig it up at a yard sale or eBay. It's the only way. Burning Rangers is a cool game, but it's not $200 cool. That's the Fireman game, right? Is that if I recall correctly, that game is based on Alien Syndrome, right? It's basically like there's Alien Syndrome where you're shooting aliens and rescuing people, and then there's Burning Rangers where you're shooting fire and rescuing people. Barcade in Brooklyn, actually, they had Alien Syndrome for a while. It's not there anymore. I don't know if it's not the St. Mark's one either. I know sometimes there's a few different Barcade locations and they rotate the machines around. I don't know if they moved it. There's another one on the west side of the city, and I think there's one in Philly. Like, I don't know if they flipped it around. But I really like Alien Syndrome, but clearly it wasn't that popular of a game. Like, I wouldn't ever see people playing it. Next to the cheer, Android Sunner. I know you probably already answered this, but I missed it. Have you ever went to Tower Records? I have. Actually, here's a Tower Records story. They used to have signings. Basically, like Irving Plaza in the city, it's by Union Square, and then Tower Records used to be over by there. So what would happen a lot was bands would come play Irving Plaza, and they would do a signing at Tower Records. So there was like a Kitty came through once, and before that there was a Yahoo group for the bass player. Like Kitty had this like really hot bass player when they came out. This chick Talina, it's like this redhead Canadian chick, and I was in her Yahoo group and we would talk online, and like so like I went to go meet them, and then like she recognized me from like we were talking. I was like, yeah, I'm in your Yahoo group, and she got mad fucking hyped. It gave me like a extra like detailed audio. Actually, I'm tight because I got rid of all my physical CDs recently, and I forgot that I fucking had that. So I think I donated it to like a library sale or something, and I forgot I had that in my Kitty CD. So that's gone now. But yeah, that was the only sign I ever went to at Tower Records. But I had a friend who worked there for a bit, so I would like kind of like pop in and visit her sometimes. I heard some of Kitty's more recent stuff too. It's actually like it's not bad. Kitty they kind of hung in there. Not a lot of bands. Not a lot of like new metal bands from that time period still around. Anyway, guys, I feel like it's cooling down right now. I guess like I'll do another one of these in the future, or maybe you know what? It's pretty cool just like to have a chill like just chatting stream from time to time that isn't focused on the Angel Fire stuff. So I might just like do like a just chatting stream like every once in a while.